everyone, this is Kenji López-Alt from Serious Eats and the Food Lab, and today I'm going to show you how to make Ragù Bolognese. It's a northern Italian meat sauce. It's not a tomato sauce with meat, it's a meat sauce, sometimes flavored with a little tomato. I first learned how to make this from my old chef Barbara Lynch at No. 9 Park in Boston, but I've been tweaking it over the years. This is how I currently make it. It's probably going to change again next time I make it. One of my favorite things to make in the winter. It's super hearty, it's super meaty and rich. It's really, really good with hearty pasta like pappardelle or tagliatelle. If you want to go all out, of course you can make a lasagna, but you know what, if you want to throw it on top of some spaghetti, I promise I won't tell. It takes a while to make, but most of that time is unattended and the basic steps are really straightforward and simple. Here's how we do it. For this recipe, I'm using a pound each of ground beef, ground lamb, and ground pork. I also use a half pound of chicken livers, which I puree with a blender. I know it looks gross, but those chicken livers add a great depth of flavor and richness to the sauce, and I promise it won't taste like chopped liver. Now start by heating a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil in a large oven-proof pot or Dutch oven over high heat just until it starts shimmering. Now add the ground beef, ground lamb, and ground pork, season with salt and pepper, and cook, stirring until the meat loses most of its raw color. I like to use a pastry blender or a potato masher to help break up the ground meat as it cooks. It's a lot easier than just using a spoon. Now at this stage, we're not really looking for much browning, which can lead to overcooked, tough bits of meat. But don't worry, we'll be building up flavor soon enough. Once the meat is cooked, add the pureed chicken livers and stir them in. Now let's move on to the aromatics. Heat 4 tablespoons of butter and 8 ounces of diced pancetta in a large skillet over medium-high heat, stirring until the pancetta is translucent but not brown. Now add a diced onion, a couple of diced carrots, and a few stalks of diced celery, along with 4 cloves of minced garlic, a 1/4 cup of minced sage, and a 1/4 cup of minced parsley, and cook, stirring until the vegetables are softened but not brown. This will take about 8 minutes. I like to add my parsley in stages, half up front and half later on towards the end. This helps build up layers of flavor. We're ready for our liquids now. If you've got good homemade chicken stock or veal stock, great. It's packed with rich mouth-coating gelatin. But if you're using store-bought stock, it's going to need a little help. Fixing it is easy as adding gelatin yourself. 1.5 ounces of powdered gelatin, that's 6 packets, sprinkled over a quart of chicken stock is all you need. Now return the Dutch oven to the stovetop, add the sautéed vegetables, and stir in a couple cups of dry wine. In the taste test I performed, I was surprised, but it really didn't make much difference whether you used red or white, so long as it was nice and dry. Let the wine simmer down until it's mostly evaporated. You're going to start to see fat starting to float on top of the meat. And then add your gelatin-enhanced stock, a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes that have been pureed with a blender, and a cup of whole milk. Season it gently with salt and pepper, stir to combine, and bring it to a simmer. Oops, don't forget the bay leaves. Now it's time to move to a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven, leaving the lid off. And here's where the real magic happens. By simmering the sauce in the oven, the top surface will dry out and gently brown. And by stirring that brown layer and scraping down the sides occasionally as the sauce cooks, we build in tons of brown flavor while still allowing the meat to remain nice and tender. By the time you hit the 3 or 4 hour mark, the sauce should be rich, thick, and well reduced. Now we've just got to finish it off on the stovetop. Depending on the fat content of the meats you started with, there may be a lot of fat floating on the surface. You can skim off most of this using a ladle, but it's okay to leave some of it there. It's going to emulsify into the sauce shortly. Once you've got most of the fat off, stir in a cup of heavy cream, another 1/4 cup of parsley, 3 ounces of grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and the secret ingredient, a couple tablespoons of Asian fish sauce. This may seem like an odd ingredient in an Italian recipe, but fish sauce is loaded with inosinic and glutamic acids, molecules responsible for triggering our sense of umami. It makes meat sauces taste meatier without actually tasting fishy at all. Let the sauce come to a boil to emulsify, season it with salt and pepper, and you're ready to serve. Bolognese is best used on hearty pasta shapes like tagliatelle, pappardelle, or rigatoni. Or if you want to go all out, it's the classic choice for a lasagna.